The 4K Blu-ray format has already had a great start to 2022. We're over halfway through the year, so I thought I would just do a recap on what I think are some of the best 4K Blu-ray releases of the year so far, so stick around for all of that. Hello, my name's Elliot, and thanks very much for joining me for another video. So we're going to be running through some of my favourite 4K discs of the year so far. And these are ones that I think if you haven't had on your radar yet, these are ones to definitely strongly consider adding to your collection if the movies interest you. The first one is an obvious one. And I think if anyone is not including this on their list of best 4Ks of the year, then they've not really done their job very well. It is the Godfather Trilogy. This is a monumental release because of how important the films are to, the history of modern cinema. These films are so amazing, and I don't know what to say to you if you've not given them a chance yet. Even the third film, which I've heard people say it's one of the worst films ever made, that's ridiculous. It's only because people are comparing the third film to part one and part two. And naturally it's not as good, but it's not one of the worst films ever made. Don't listen to people if they say that to you. You can really tell that the utmost care has gone into restoring these films and putting them onto the 4K discs. To my eyes and ears, there really isn't much to point out wrong with these discs at all. I think it's definitely going to be one of the best releases of this year, and it's probably one of the better releases on the entire format. And I think it's just essential for anyone who enjoys these films and just likes, modern American cinema. These are such important films. I will just stress again the care that's obviously gone into these discs. There has been no attempt to digitize the look of the film to make it any smoother or cleaner with effects and things like that. Nothing nasty has gone on. They look filmic. They look how I imagine they would have looked when they were originally projected. They just look and sound great. So if you've not got this, you can buy it with ultimate confidence that you're going to enjoy what you get. Next up, I've got to sing the praises of Dune, the Denis Villeneuve adaptation of Frank Herbert's epic novel. This is part one of the story, and we have part two coming, I think, sometime next year, which I'm highly looking forward to. The disc is just great, looks and sounds great, and it's very important for this kind of film because of how large it is and the kind of scope in the set design, costume design, the music. All of it is trying to create this massive world or universe or whatever you want to call it. The world building is so important to a story like Dune that all of the elements need to be of the best quality, I think, to actually convey that story. So what I'm saying is, on this disc, it's just near perfect. There's a few things here and there that I thought kind of just stuck out, very minor things, and I did talk about all of those in my review video of this disc at the start of the year. There's not really much more to say. I think this was one of the most enjoyable films that was released last year. It's one of the best 4K discs as it came out in January early this year. So yeah, just a great film, and I can't wait to see the second part. Moving on, we've got a big one, a really big release, which I have talked about on the channel. It's Drive, the Nicholas Winding Refn movie starring Ryan Gosling. The seminal piece of work in the literally me subgenre of cinema for lonely, depressed men out there. Yeah, this is a key text in that genre and just a great film. Even if you're not one of those lonely boys, it's a great film. This was released by Second Sight, that's a UK company, but the disc is region free. And it came in this big limited edition, and I did a full unboxing on the channel if you want to go and watch that video. It is available on a standard release as well, it just comes in a normal case. The film just looks and sounds the best it ever has to me, and watching it on this disc really did bring me back to those first times that I watched the film. And I just have a great fondness for this film, and I think a lot of people do as well. So it was a real pleasure when this was released to find out that it was a good disc, Because, you know, sometimes you can get burnt. Sometimes the companies don't do a great job of the 4K process. So yeah, you can buy this one with confidence as well. I think it's one of the best 4K discs of the year. And unless a lot of other great discs come out in the next few months, I think it's still going to be one of the best at the end of the year. Next up is such a joyous film. One of my favourite films of all time. And yes, I know I say that an awful lot, but I really do mean it this time. It's Singing in the Rain. I was so happy when this was announced to be getting a 4K disc because, you know, I'm so familiar with the film, and anyone who is knows how colourful it is. Obviously, music is very important and sound is very important. And the film itself is about filmmaking and a transitional period in Hollywood's history, going from silent cinema to sound cinema. Just a great film, uplifting film. I really do challenge anyone. I don't understand when people say they don't like this film. I know it's subjective, but I just think it's so easy to watch this and just put a smile on your face. And yeah, just so happy that it looks and sounds great. The HDR grade on the disc makes all the colours, you know, there's a new vibrancy in all of the colours. So yeah, very happy with this. This is the UK limited edition box. It's basically not all that much over the actual just single disc itself. You just get some art cards and a little booklet, and I think you get a poster inside as well. Honestly though, it's probably not worth getting. Just get the single disc itself. But regardless, what I'm trying to say is this is one of the best 4K releases of the year so far. And again, I would highly anticipate this being on the best of lists at the end of the year. So yeah, buy this with confidence, and it's, yeah, just a great, enjoyable film. One of my favorites. So in this video, we've already had a high caliber level of filmmaking. All of these films that I've talked about, in my opinion, are great films. This one is no different, and I think it's one of the greatest examples of brilliant filmmaking in the genre in modern times. It's The Proposition. This is a modern western set in the Australian outback, and it's just one of the best examples of the genre. I have done a review video on this, so if you want to hear more about it, do go and check out that video. I kind of talk about what you get in this BFI limited edition, and you know, I talk about the disc itself and everything. This film doesn't have the biggest fan base, not because it's a bad film, just because it's unknown in most circles. Not a lot of people have heard of this, and I just want to get the word out that this is a great film. It's brutal, it's violent, so if that's not your thing, then it's probably not for you. But in terms of modern westerns and storytelling and acting, you know, there's so many great actors in here. Guy Pearce, Ray Winston, and many others. And the cinematography, it's written by Nick Cave. The music is great in this as well. All around, just a really great film. I know I'm just saying great a lot, but that's how I feel about the film. And the 4K disc, that's why it's in this video, is because it is one of the best discs of the year, and I just want to shine a bit more light on it. So if it sounds like your kind of thing, you should try to pick up The Proposition on 4K Blu-ray. So we come to my favourite 4K release of the year so far. For me, this is a no-brainer, an absolute home run. It is the Alfred Hitchcock Classics Collection. So this is volume 2. You might be familiar that there was a volume 1 that came out not last year. Was it the year before? I'm forgetting, but that's not important. The box set, though, had some of Hitchcock's biggest films, maybe even his 4 biggest. It had Vertigo, Psycho, Rear Window, and The Birds. And I think besides maybe North by Northwest, those are his most well-known and most celebrated films. When you come to this box set, the films that are included are not necessarily ones that many people are jumping at to watch, or at least if you're not a massive Hitchcock fan, you're not really clamoring to get these on 4K Blu-ray. However, if you are a fan, and I find it strange when people aren't fans of Alfred Hitchcock, this is such a treasure. I mean, all of the films in here, even if you consider them lesser Hitchcock or minor Hitchcock, it's still Hitchcock, and there's moments of brilliance in every single one of these films. I think all of them are great. I really do. And when you get to Family Plot, which was Hitchcock's last film that he made before he passed away, there's just so much that you can delve into there. It's kind of a summation of his career and his ethos in terms of filmmaking and all the kinds of themes that he would explore throughout his career. Yeah, just a great set of films, and I'm so thankful that the care and attention was put into restoring these films in 4K and just making them look so great. I mean, for example, The Trouble with Harry, this is one that was shot in Technicolor, very vibrant and quite different for a Hitchcock movie because it wasn't, an out-and-out thriller. It was a bit of a comedy, almost a bit farcical, a bit dreamlike, feels very dreamlike to me, a bit melodramatic, but a great film. And the Technicolor treatment of that film looks so great on the 4K disc because of the high dynamic range grade, pumping the colors up, making them more vibrant, contrast between, the brighter colors and the darker colors, just absolutely brilliant. So that's a great example of a good disc in this set. And then on the flip side, if you're looking at a film like Saboteur or Shadow of a Doubt, which might actually be the best looking film in the set, again, we've seen this before now, but old black and white films that were shot on film have the ability to actually be some of the most stunning films on 4K Blu-ray. I know for some people it can be a bit of a hard sell to go back and watch an older movie in black and white, but really you're missing out if you're not going back to some of the great black and white films on the 4K format. And, these ones in this set are a perfect example of that. I'm planning to talk about Hitchcock much, much more on the channel very soon because I've been going back and watching so many of the films in his filmography, and I think he is, he's known as the master, but I really do believe that is true. I think he's one of the greatest. So that's this set, my favourite 4K release of the year so far. Do let me know if you disagree or if you've picked this setup. I know the films are also available separately as well, so I recommend all of them. But particularly if you're looking for great picture quality, something like Shadow of a Doubt is going to absolutely blow you away. So yeah, that's my pick for best 4K release of the year so far. So there's my list. Speaking of great 4K releases, if you want to check out more from me and hear some more recommendations for, I think, essential discs that you need to have in your collection, then just click the video that's on screen now and it'll take you to the video where you can get some more recommendations, and hopefully it will be very valuable to you. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.